Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. At this time, if you'll please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Before we move forward with the meeting, I would like to ask for an amendment to the agenda that I mentioned to everyone. Under new business, we did not include a proclamation commemorating Memorial Day. I would like to add that, if that is so amenable. I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda as follows with a proclamation under new business. Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We do have minutes from both April 26th and May 10th. Council members, do you have any changes to the minutes, or do you have a motion that we accept as approved? Before we do that, I do have a change. Forrest, did you say one?
Yeah, I had just a couple of changes that I passed on to Jen, just small typos and such.
Typos, like I left some sentences incomplete, and there's one where it says add appointments, but I didn't, and Onassis and Justin comments are just not that.
Why don't we hold on those minutes until we get all that back out to everybody so that we can all see it before we approve it? Does that sound fair? For the May 10th minutes, are there any changes?
Yeah, same sort of, there's one where I needed to do something with the certification of the closed meeting, and then, I didn't finish typing Onassis.
How about we just include all those minute approvals at the next meeting? Is that fair? Okay. That way we can all take a look at them. I do. It was under my comments, and I think Mrs. Foster's comments were incomplete as well under the April 26th minutes. Yeah. I'll send them to you, but then that way you can just send it out to everybody again so we can review it. At this time, we'd like to open the floor for citizen comments regarding matters in front of the public. You are more than welcome to come down to the podium to make a statement. Please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less.
My name's Gary Harris. I'm commander of the Rafferty VFW, and I just want to invite everyone down to the Memorial Day program Monday, starting at 11 o'clock. It'll go on as it always has. A couple changes because of COVID, and we will have hot dogs by Onassis Burris. So you can get hot dogs after the program. So hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
And what are the times? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Gary. Program starts at 11, right?
At 11?
Yeah.
Do what?
Program starts at 11, correct?
11 and ends at,
I'm sorry, I can't.
when does it end?
Program starts at 11, should end around
11
12.
11 a.m.
Okay.
Visit Park, correct.
At the gazebo.
And just for clarification, my basketball team will be doing a fundraiser for donations for the hot dogs. So my cooking skills will not be on display, but I will definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. Are there any other comments from citizens for the record? Hearing none, we will close that portion of the meeting. Council members, do you have any additional response other than what we've talked about? Okay. Moving forward, at this time we are going to discuss Ordinance 1751, our tobacco and cigarette tax increase. Since at least 2004, the tax on a package of cigarettes is 15 cents here in the city of Radford, and that rates remained the same during that time. As we've looked around the region, the rates have varied, and in addition to that, the General Assembly gave authority to the counties to also begin to collect tax. As such, most of our surrounding jurisdictions are considering an equivalency rate of about 40 cents. David, can you address that with where everybody is? I know you and the managers have been talking about it.
Yeah, they're all still, some of them are still up in the air about it. Every county has not decided to move forward. The others are a little
So when you say Montgomery County has not decided to move forward, they decided not to move forward, correct? They, okay,
Where,
Okay.
where are they at now?
they just got the authority. Okay. Before we,
What is their rate though currently?
they don't have one, the county doesn't,
Christiansburg's is 40 cents,
That's what I-
Blacksburg's is 30 cents, looking good.
right?
Okay.
But right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, the counties did not have the authority to levy this rate until the recent General Assembly legislation on top of that, so. Right. And this is a confusing subject, and we're really first out of the gate to this, so trying to help people understand. I think what we're looking at, and council members will go around and let you all chime in on this as well, is to try to create more of an equivalency of rate across the region as opposed to somebody being at 15 cents, somebody being at 40 cents, somebody being at 30, 25. That still may happen with the surrounding jurisdictions. I think this is something we want to monitor so that we're not way out of line. We're anticipating, based on conversations that have been held, and even at the regional commission, some conversations that have been held, that all of this will eventually land right around the 40 cents per pack rate. But that's pretty much where we are. A couple of notices with this. The General Assembly also established a maximum 2 cents tax per cigarette, and it is already stated that a pack of cigarette constitutes 20 cigarettes. So again, that's how all this has arrived at 40 cents per pack. I'll go around the horn to see if there's any comments from council before we consider the ordinance once again. Naomi?
I don't believe I have anything additional to add since our previous vote last session.
Okay.
Same.
Forrest, Jesse?
Same.
Okay. So having heard that, ordinance 1751 establishing the rate on a pack of cigarettes at 40 cents. Do we have a motion to accept that rate? So moved. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Ms. Wilder, would you call the roll?
Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Ms. Foster.
Yes.
Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Horton.
Yes. Now, I will just say, one of the things I think that we need to do with this is to revisit it after July 1st and revisit it again in the early fall to see where everybody did land. That if we are way out of line, if our anticipation is incorrect, that we may want to reconsider at that point in time. Okay, any additional old business? Hearing none, we do have new business. We are looking at awarding the pavement maintenance program. David, help us out with this a little bit. We had a single bid for this contract for our paving, and this is primarily Wadsworth Street to take care of that, and somewhat of Sundell Drive. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yes, it's an extensive project because we're doing all of Wadsworth Street, all of Sundell Drive. We'll use our budgeted monies for that this go round. There are not many companies that are out there that are in the paving business, especially ones that can do milling and everything we need. So this is going to be an extensive milling job. It'll take 2 to 4 inches of that mess that's on top. The last paving probably wasn't that great 10 years ago or so. That's why the pavement broke down faster. Plus, anytime you get any cracks in it, you have up and down weather conditions, you get the popping that you've got now. So when we evaluated it, it's probably the most heavily traveled street in Radford, so we want to make sure we got that one. So we're just going to go ahead and do the whole street from all the way from East Main, West Main, all the way to Rock Road, and then Sundell Drive all the way back from Wadsworth all the way back to Orange House Circle.
Okay.
And they're hopefully going to get on this year and finish it up before July 1. That's our hope.
So with this, David, I know some communities have put in underlays under the street in areas where they've had to go back multiple times for potholes and things like that. Does anything like that make sense for us as we're looking at our paving programs to try to get more life out of the actual paving that takes place?
The biggest thing we're looking at now is streets that have not been milled, such as Wadsworth Street. We're trying, if you've noticed, nearly for the last 4, 5, 6 years, really, we've done milling, and that's the best way to get, because there's still a lot of testing going on with those underlays.
Right.
And with the weather conditions that we have here, we haven't really been pushed to that direction at this point. So I think the milling will take care of it and get us down to a good base to start with.
Okay. So we are thinking that throughout the month of June, we'll see this along there if it's approved tonight. And what we're looking at is that we have a combination of funds, the Urban Highway Maintenance Fund at $126,356, and then the overall amount is $386,356. So basically, our appropriation for this evening is the $126,356, which is our portion of that piece. Council members, do we have a motion to accept Ordinance 1713.26 in the amount of $126,356?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just one quick question is, construction costs are rising astronomically lately. Are costs with pavement, are they rising or steady? Good deal.
And one additional question as well. I had asked you previously, we've used them multiple projects in the past. Can you remind us of some of the projects that they've completed? And we've always been very satisfied with their work.
East and West Main Street pavements from the last time. We've got several scattered neighborhoods, and that you've asked me, I can try to think which ones. Rock Road improvements were also done 2 years ago. We've had a real good track record. I think this will be their third year of getting this.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? And just for clarification, we are still continuing to go around and do additional street repairs and improvements and things like that outside of this major paving contract. But this is the only full street milling and paving that we'll do this summer, correct?
Correct, except where we've been going around fixing potholes, when you see groups of potholes, the guys will go back out and take them. We have a small milling machine, and taking that and using our small paver and get a better job out of those. Right now, it's just temporary, and through the summer, we'll be doing some scattered locations. If you see a real rough spot, let us know, either fixing that pothole repair or going back in and doing the milling. Two different kinds of pothole repairs. One is cold patch, is what we use through the winter months as we get that kind of rougher spot.
Yeah.
And those are the ones we're trying to get out now and go back in with the hot patch, which is just comes straight from the asphalt.
Okay.
It lays better and smooths out better.
And I would like to add, in regards to the community, if you have a pothole or an area of concern, please contact us.
Yes, send it up.
Let us know.
Absolutely.
Crews riding every street in town trying to catch every spot, but yes, there's always a chance we can miss some, so
That's right.
send it our way.
Okay. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can dispense with a second reading if so desired. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to dispense with the second reading of Ordinance 1713.26. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Yes.
Quick, I need you guys to make a motion to award the contract to Adams too. Please skip over that part.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so we do need to award the contract for the paving program in the total amount of $386,356. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay. Up next, we do have a request from the school board to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 school board budget. We do need to look at this because I believe all of this is the virtual school and CARES funding. Honestly, David, I went through the piece, and I'd love to have some representation here when we do the public hearing.
The school superintendent was coming, he called it, it got tied up, he didn't know if he was going to make it.
Okay.
This was all revenue generated, so if you go forward to the public hearing, he will do the presentation on the 10th and.
12th, yeah, 14th.
It
Yeah.
says 12th of the memo.
It's the 14th.
14th is the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, at this point in time, we need to schedule a public hearing because the amount exceeds 1% of the annual appropriation for the schools. So significantly exceeds 1% of the annual appropriation. It is. And I do think that there is some good need to go through this and kind of understand it at a greater level. So, council members, do we have a motion to schedule a public hearing on June the 14th during our next regular meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to schedule a public hearing on June 14th to review a school board budget amendment. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I think that'll be very helpful to us to have a greater understanding of that. So one of the things we wanted to add to our agenda this evening is a proclamation commemorating Memorial Day. As such, I have drafted something here, and then I would like for us to consider putting this into effect. Memorial Day has been a holiday. This is actually the 50th anniversary of it officially becoming a federal holiday. It's been a holiday since the 1860s, unofficially around the nation. And it actually began apocryphally, as much as we know, that a group of enslaved people actually wanted to recognize the soldiers after the Civil War in 1865, right after the war had ended, and as such they created what was called Decoration Day, where they would decorate the graves of the soldiers. That continued on for many years and became more formalized over time with a number of community activities. I think the real driving force was how many people who didn't serve wanted to recognize those who did. And so this proclamation addresses some of that. Whereas Memorial Day is a traditional date set aside to honor the men and women who have died while serving in the United States military, and whereas this tradition has been observed in many areas of the United States since the 1860s, but has officially been recognized as a federal holiday since 1971. And whereas the freedoms we enjoy as citizens of Radford, Virginia, and this great nation have been secured through the sacrifices of these brave men and women, as well as the loss to their families. And whereas it is incumbent upon us to remember their service and their lives, and whereas Memorial Day has been established to take place on the final Monday of the month of May annually, and whereas a national moment of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day, and whereas the commemoration of the lives of the lost men and women in service of their nation has for decades been recognized in the city of Radford through the diligent efforts of many citizens and leaders. Therefore, the City Council of the City of Radford does hereby proclaim Monday, May 31st, 2021 as Memorial Day in the City of Radford, and encourages all citizens to reflect on the meaning of the holiday, the loss of lives associated with securing freedom, and the many gifts we have all been given through the dedication and sacrifice of the few who serve in the armed forces of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, and Space Force. I would like to make a motion that we put this proclamation into effect. Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. And I did want to mention that, yes, I did add in the Space Force. Even though it's only been in existence for 2 years, we actually had a death of one of the commanders in the Space Force in 2020. And so there is a member of that service who has been lost while in service of the nation. We'll have more about that later as well. David, what do you have for us this evening?
A couple of quick things. Doing our beautification efforts now that we're past frost season, nice warm weather, temperatures. You see the first batch of baskets is up out in front of our building. Nick will be adding those across the community over the next couple of days, as well as getting all the beds ready. All the flags are up on the bridge for Memorial Day. We are waiting to see what the governor's going to say on Friday. Where we're going with July 4th. We continue to advance July 4th with a somewhat normal program, so we'll let you know that as we approach the weekend. Other than exactly the same, but trying to figure out what to do with crowd control and that kind of thing. But I think everybody's anxious to get outside and do something new and different, so Parks and Rec's ready.
More normal, but not as big.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think that
We had a fantastic fireworks show that we had last year.
we like that.
The extra 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it was, and Iron Sky, so that's going to be a go either way.
So I think the best news item out of that is the best fireworks anywhere in the area will be in Radford, Virginia on the 4th of July. Sounds good. Naomi, what do you have?
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I am going to keep it somewhat brief because my voice is not itself. Last week, council members had the opportunity to attend a listening session, a panel with Community members, business members, and members of the New Valley Regional Commission as we focused on our East Main Downtown Improvement Plan. And it was a really great opportunity for us to hear so many different ideas and comments about what people want to do with our East Main downtown. I was really happy to hear that we've had over 1,200 participants conduct a survey about what they want to see in the downtown area. And I would really just like to encourage everyone to fill out that survey, because over 1,200 is an amazing response, but we need thousands more. This is our opportunity to really revitalize our downtown, and we want our downtown to be reflective of Radford's values and what we want to see as community members. So please, if you have not had the opportunity yet, fill out that survey. It is available, it's linked on our website, and so please participate and encourage everyone that you know in Radford and everyone who doesn't to come down and let us know what you think about the status of the downtown. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Jesse?
Mine is brief as well. We're wondering about the American Legion. Did they ever give you,
Not, I was going to ask you all this evening.
have you heard anything with them?
Past Thursday from a third bidder, and unfortunately, he had to reschedule, so we're going to reschedule that. So we have 2 bids in currently, one with Crockett, and then another with a local, with Anthony, with Tony, yeah. Needed one more. Yeah. Well, the council put forth for us to see 3 bids, and so that's what we're proceeding with.
Just to revisit and get the best deal, so. So we have one more.
Correct.
Okay, do you know when they're coming?
I would imagine after Memorial Day, I would imagine. He's in Roanoke, so he's pretty close. He had a car malfunction the last time.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Onassis, what do you have?
I would just encourage everyone to have a very safe Memorial Day weekend. Come out to the park if you can. Please be safe. I know COVID protocols have lessened, but still be smart and do your part. So I look forward to having everyone come out there. I know Jess and I are both military veterans, served our country, and we're very fortunate. There are a lot of veterans who didn't make it back. You know, when you raise your hand to serve, you take that risk of possibly giving your life on behalf of your country. We were fortunate that didn't occur for us, but there are many brave souls who did not come back. So I just want people to remember the reason why we're celebrating Memorial Day, and also to be safe when we're out there. So,
Thank you. Forrest?
Nothing for me tonight.
Okay. I was going to mention exactly what Naomi mentioned this evening. We had a couple of great sessions with our stakeholders. This process has been really going on for about 2 years. It began when we started rebranding the city, and we looked to revitalize our Main Street program. I think that will be an offshoot of this as well. Go Radford was established, but it was kind of paused during COVID, and hopefully we'll be able to get that up and running again. We do need people to fill out the survey. If we haven't heard from you, we want to. The idea is that any idea needs to be submitted. If you've seen something that works well in another community, if you've always thought that something could benefit the city of Radford, this is the opportunity to do that. Now, in fairness, I have sat through meetings for decades in the Norwood Room, really since the business that occupied that building originally, Leggett, left town. And a few things have happened over the years, and there have definitely been improvements and changes, but never the sweeping, overriding change that we'd hoped to have. This is really our moment for that. Much as we did a decade ago in West Main to prepare for some of the things that have occurred in this central business district, this is where we are on East Main at this point in time. We're going to be looking at lighting and sidewalks, facade enhancements, better use of spaces, additional walking and biking to make the downtown area more walkable and more accessible to everyone. We're going to be looking at really the way every inch of space in the corridor is looked at. And this really goes Tyler Avenue, down Main Street, and up 3rd Avenue. So it's an extensive corridor beyond just a couple of blocks. It does not mean, however, that that's the only area along Main Street, and particularly in our business district, we're looking at. There's a new survey that even if you completed the previous survey that's out there, This is a slightly modified survey that asks for more specific information that's also on that Engage NRV website. So it's really important to get people to participate with that, because that's how we're going to be able to get all these ideas together. We do want to pull together more groups of people as well. So the stakeholders have met. We're going to be looking to meet with any group that would like to talk about how Main Street works for them, transportation, access, ideas for improvement. We had the right of silence this last week, which recognizes those cyclists who have been killed while they were on the road or injured. And as part of that, several members of the Blacksburg community who come to Radford frequently to ride the trails actually talked with me about our access to the river, to the riverway, to other parts of the community. We want to continue this discussion so that we can all help make the best decision. We can work with our appropriate city staff to work toward that. Having said all that, that's East Main Street. That's our business district there. We do still have the West Main Street that we're looking at, and this is further west, post office and west of there. And David, I just wanted to bring that back up again. I know that we've had some challenge, just as Forrest mentioned, construction costs going up and all that, and we had a plan in place during this budget year to actually work on the sidewalks, and I know we've done a little bit of the lighting. Could you address where we are with some of that?
Biggest thing right now is getting enough employees at Public Works through COVID to be able to get some of these jobs done, but we do hope to break ground in June on the sidewalk project.
Okay. So just for those that may...
Lighting's already gone in place, that's there, which we did the paving last year, I think it was, and the new striping, so next phase of this is the sidewalk work.
And in addition to that, there are a couple of places where I think we may need even more lighting. I know I was going to wait until we get the sidewalks done to see, but I know there's still some real big dark gaps because that's such a big area through there. For those in attendance and those that may be watching elsewhere, so often it's stated that that part of Radford is forgotten. It is not forgotten. This is something that's been on our minds during the time that those of us who've been here a little bit longer have been elected, and those that joined us last year have been up here. We've wanted to improve that area for a significant amount of time, and we've made incremental improvements, but we're going to do more. And I think the message of all of this is we are looking to invest in the city of Radford to sow the seeds for our future success, for our future growth, and to try to make that happen. But we want this to be a conversation. It's not a one-way thing. The East Main Street project, certainly there's room for a lot of conversation. If folks who live and work along West Main have additional comments that they want to share about transit access, about lighting, about safety, about sidewalks, please feel free to do so. We are going to be working on this. It's going to take us a little time to get all this done. Some of these sidewalks have been in place and haven't really been touched for 70 to 80 years. And so this is a heavy lift to get this in better shape. But there are some real positive changes that will be coming along that thoroughfare, and you'll be seeing some additional investment and growth, and so there'll be things along that way. We've tried to be very responsive as a council to all of this and proactive where we can be. I did mention the Ride of Silence. I want to thank Pathways for Radford and Bike NRV for helping to co-sponsor that. I'd like to thank Chief Dodson and the police department for helping to make sure it was a safe ride. We had 50 participants this year after it having been canceled last year, and they were from throughout the Radford community and throughout the New River Valley. I think that demonstrates our desire to make Radford a safe biking and access community, but also that others around us see Radford as an important component of the biking and activity in the New River Valley, and something that we need to keep in mind as we continue to move forward. We're beginning a patriotic series of holidays. Memorial Day certainly is one of those on Monday, and we do encourage you to come out to the Memorial Day celebration on Monday at 11 a.m. at the Bissett Park gazebo at the gazebo down there. And then we also want to remind you that at our next meeting, June 14th, it will be Flag Day. And then obviously July 4th will be following that. The city will be representing all those. I wanted to say a special thank you to former council member Rob Groteman, to all of the donors who made the flags possible on Memorial Bridge, and to the VFW and the American Legion for their support of the service flags that are also represented on the bridge. This is certainly the spirit of America during this time period, and you'll see us talking about that all summer long as we move forward. We do need to take a moment for a closed session to have a quick discussion, but then we will reconvene after that. As such, we will go from there. I will just read that this evening. I'd like to make a motion to convene a closed session for the purpose of discussion, consideration, or interview of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body, and evaluation of performance of departments under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to go into closed session. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that we can remain COVID separated, we are going to stay in this room, so we will ask those in attendance to please wait in the hall